If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First, it's free. Second, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else podcasts are heard. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
The stories, the hustle, the grind, the push, the pain, the time, love, the sweat, the tears, goes beyond the lights, the stage, the fame, and the message stays the same. You're listening to the Indie Takeover.
What's up, family? This is G Mays, man, and you're listening to the Indie Takeover show.
You gotta get your groove on. Albertsville, shut up. Put your hands on it. Let's get it. Yeah, man. Albertsville, shut up. Touch me. Yeah. You don't leave me. How can I leave? They won't receive
Welcome to the Indie Takeover. This is your boy, Jeremy Gibson. And look, I'm sitting here with, listen, the man himself, all the way from Houston, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, all the way from Houston. I got my boy here. Listen, this has just been years in the, okay?
Hey.
Okay, so I need y'all to understand that this conversation is long overdue on this end, but I am elated, and I have as a special guest today my brother, my friend, Gary Mays. Most of you know him as G Mays. I'm going to tell my story of how I came to know him, his music, but I'm going to let him tell you who he is, what he does, and where he's from in his own words. Gary, let him know who you are.
Yo, what up, man? It's name is Gary Mays. Go by G Mays as well. Born and raised in Houston. Moved to New York. I'm an artist, producer, writer, a musician. I've been in the gospel field all of my life, but decided to be an artist about 20, a little bit under like 22 years ago. So it's been, me and God ever since.
Now, tell me this: Gary Mays, G Mays, which do you prefer?
Honestly, man, the whole G Mays thing was basically to give people a way of being able to differentiate between Gary, the solo artist, G Mays, the solo artist, and Gary Mays, the New Era, the group.
Yeah.
Like Gary Mays, the New Era, the group was what I introduced the world to.
Right.
In the early days, like 2002, when we released our first record, the Volume 1 album. That was Gary Mays' New Era, and we did 3 albums together from between 2002 and 2007.
Yeah.
So then I came back and did G Mays and NE, which was a younger crew for my EP. So once I dropped the EP, and then I decided I wanted to do this whole solo thing, I just stuck with G Mays just to give people something, a way of being able to decipher which is which. Gary Mays' New Era, then that's G Mays, the solo artist, because as of April 2018, I released my first solo record. And
yes,
20 years, yeah, my 20 years of being in ministry, I released G Mays Victory in Black and White Live, which was my first live recording as well as my first solo recording. So it was all in one, and it was to commemorate the 20-year anniversary of me starting my ministry. So,
and we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I want to talk about how you got started. I'm going to talk about real quick how I found out who Gary Mays was, and remember vividly. It was the winter of 2004, and my boy had went away to my god brother. Actually, had went away to Berklee College of Music in Boston.
Right.
And so he came back with, at that time we had X CDs. So it's like either somebody burn you a copy or you had all these deals, right? So he brings back first semester, and we were like blown by some of them, because on the West Coast we have a super heavy presence from artists, from the Midwest, or like you really gotta just be either traveling or be connected, back then to be exposed to different artists. So he brought back, I want to say it was Volume 1, but it was a burn copy.
Right.
So it had no picture, no nothing. But I was like I put the mess out of that CD, right? Over and over again. So I was trying to teach our youth choir at the time the songs, but we didn't have like singers in our youth choir. So I was trying to make these kids sing your music. And they were like, what is this? Listen, we changing the game right now, and it was hilarious because me and my god brother were so driven to like change down and like innovate. And when I heard you specifically, I was like, this is new. Like this is what we need. Like this is so refreshing, right? And as years went on, like I've definitely been a fan and a follower of your music, from Diary of a Soldier to the NEX, all of that. Like I support your work, man. I think you've been a trailblazer. Like when you said 20 years, folks said, but you only 23.
Ah, man, I wish.
You look young. You got a relevant sound. Like I'm not saying that you old. I'm just saying like 22 years. It's a long time.
I accept my age, man. My baby, I had to stop. I was working early, and I had to stop doing what I was doing to come and check on my baby. That's why I'm at now. I'm over at my daughter. I'm not even at the studio right now. That's why I'm on my iPad.
Yeah.
I'm check on my daughter because she sent me a text message just randomly saying she missed me and would I come see her. So I left and came over here. So if I was a young dude, I'd be like, oh, baby, I'm working. But
right.
Old man, let me go get my baby, man.
Yeah, so, priorities change, man.
Yeah. Quick, man. Because I know if this had been in my 20s and my daughter had called, I'm like, okay, baby, I'll see you tomorrow. Daddy's working right. Got to get this done. I got to get this song done. I got to get this record done, blah, blah, blah. I stopped mid-production, man. Like, cut everything off, went upstairs, showered, jumped, came, got my baby, grabbed something to eat, and hanging out with her until it's time for me to go to rehearsal. So that's the old man in me. Because I'm 47, man. This is where I'm at now. So this is easy for me.
I think it's healthy, though. I think that's a healthy shift if, a lot of people become consumed. Spent a lot of time on grind, like making, great music, like you said, in the span of 2002 to 2007.
Yeah, we dropped the album like every other year.
Yeah, and you people that can't do that in 10 years. So, and that's no shade to anybody, making an album is difficult. But you've produced quality work. So when it comes to like your beginning, like how you started, like what made you say, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm doing this at, like, I'm starting this group. I want to record. I pursue, like, how did that start for you?
I'm gonna try to give you the short version of it, man, but two things happened. One thing was I was playing drums for a few artists in the city. And this is like in 90, I want to say 94, I was playing for two people, a lady by the name of Jackie Smith in Divinity. And we used to be up in the Bay all the time. We did Sacramento, San Jose, San Fran, Oakland. We actually went to, what's my lady that sings Thank You? Yvette Flounder or something. Yeah, we went to her church. This is back when I was in college, because I went to school in the Bay Area, man. I was in Kalinga, California. I don't know if y'all familiar with Kalinga, but it's between Bakersfield and Fresno. Yeah, so I was in school there. But I went to, I was playing for this cat, Jackie Smith in Divinity, and then I started playing for this cat named Terry Butler. And for some reason, I just started hearing tunes. I started feeling like I could write tunes. And I tried to give to, one of those artists, and they like wrote it off because I was a drummer. I was cool being a drummer, but saying I was a writer, I don't think they could take me serious because I was always a drummer.
Right.
I ended up going to jail for a year and a half. And when I came home while I was in jail, I was doing even more writing. And I'm sending the records home to my son's mom at the time. And she kept all the work. When I came home, she had all of them still there. So I just started going through a few of them, started playing for a few artists. And I found myself pitching them to the people I was playing for to see if they would bite on them.
Yeah.
Nobody would bite on them. And the last straw was I was playing for an artist, a guy by the name of Eric Carrington. And this is in 97, man. And we were just having conversations about, he was like, man, you have some really, really cool production stuff in your mind, man. You should probably, pursue it a little bit harder. And that was a young lady by the name of Kayla Ardorn. If you don't know her, man, look her up. But she's Kayla Freeman now. She's the first lady of a church in Austin now. But Kayla Ardorn, 15-year-old prodigy, man. I went to her parents. Her parents were good friends of me and my ex-wife at the time. And I said, like, I want to produce her. Will you allow me to produce her? I have tunes. I let them hear the tunes. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I don't know if you remember this song, but the song called "He'll Make a Way" off my first album. Nikita Fox led it.
Yeah.
A song called "Here Am I" on my first album.
Yes, sir.
Those are songs. Thank You that Nikki Ross led.
Yeah.
Those are songs that I wrote for Kayla.
Wow.
I wrote those tunes for Kayla, but she was 15, so she couldn't really give the time that it would take to make the record happen because she was literally a sophomore in high school. So it was going to be one of those things. We got to pay for her tutor and all that. So her parents was like, "Nah, that's a little bit too much for her." So I decided, I don't want to break this up. I got a nice momentum going, so let me go ahead and see if the crew would mind following me.
Right.
And they followed me, man. They were like, "Yeah, we'll ride with you." I had a crew, man, like 25 people when I first started Gary Mays and Friends in Christ. That's the name of the crew at first, Gary Mays and Friends in Christ. I changed the name a year, probably like a little bit under a year later, to Gary Mays and New Era.
Uh-huh.
So I did that. After everything went south with Kayla and myself, I got the crew and we just started recording in 98, 99, 2000. I ended up getting a deal with a buddy of mine who called me by accident. It was a mistake. They were looking for a different Gary, but they ended up called Gary Mays. Yeah, they called Gary Mays. And I reached out, gave him some songs for his artist, and he was like, "So what are you doing with your records, man?" I was like, "Yo, I'm trying to find a deal, man. I can't do this on my own. I've been working on my records since 98. I've been doing this for 3 years.
Right.
And I can't keep, I'm a married man. I got 2 sons now. I got too much on I have 1 son. I got another son on the way. So, I got to figure out something else." He's like, "Well, I'll sign you." And he signed me on the spot.
Wow.
Called his partner. His partner, drew up the contract. I signed the contract a couple of days later. And here I stand now, 22 years later in the game with 5 albums, and I'm working on a new one as we speak. That's how it all began. That's the short version of it. But that's how it all began. Started with, writing tunes and nobody paying them any attention. They wouldn't, they wouldn't bite in, wouldn't bite. Talked to my last little homies, like, "Yo, you should pursue it long term."
Yeah.
I get Kayla. Kayla doesn't work out for like we did this like 3 months, man, and we had to shut it down. And when we shut it down, I just didn't lose that momentum. So I asked the crew would they follow me, and I put Gary Mays and Friends in Christ in front of the name, and it's been on and popping ever since.
I think it's very important for aspiring creatives to hear what you just said. Like you said so in what you just shared, like being able to be consistent and persistent in what you have in you, not knocking up on that, and being able to say, I mean, you kind of glossed over it real quick. You said I went to jail for a year, and then you kept telling the story. But a lot of people do it with setback like that, and we ain't got to get in the details, but what made you even at period of time keep creating, keep writing? Like, I won't say most people, but there's people that would life stop them. Whether it be, having a baby or getting married or losing a job or starting a job, or, it's all types of stuff that happens in life that keeps them from, okay, this is it. Let me think of something else.
Change direct, yeah.
Yeah. So what kept and keeps you going? Because in my eyes, I feel like you have such a hunger and a passion for this that it, I mean, there's nothing that I say like, "Oh no, stop, Gary, like it's done." What keeps you going? You going, man?
I understand. I'm a Bible boy. I understand how this works, man. Many are called.
Yeah.
But few are chosen, and I feel like I was chosen for this. Because I could like if we had time to really dig into my entire childhood, I think it would make a lot more sense. But just to give you a brief breakdown of it, like my childhood was a mess, man. It was a mess. But the one thing I found that I was really, really good at, I jumped into it, and then God anointed it. I was good at basketball. I went to college for basketball. So while I was there, I ended up getting sick and had big, crazy lesions in the back of my head, and I had one behind my ear. It was bad. It was an infection that I got while I was in Kalinga, living up in the desert area. There's a thing called coccidiomycosis, which is basically valley fever. and it's a virus, and you can just get it just by inhaling the air. I never, I wasn't out there being promiscuous. I was going to school, going to class, doing what I was supposed to do, making sure I get my stuff together, playing basketball, and just going to class every day, walking home, going to my room, going to my, the dorm or whatever. And I guess that, whatever was in the air got into my system, and it jacked me up. It messed me up. So that was the beginning of it. I came home, and a year later, after coming home from school, I ended up in jail. So I go to jail for a year and a half, and while I'm in there, man, I guess I keep telling people all the time, I don't look at jail as a bad part of my history. I believe jail saved my life, because if I don't go to jail, I'll probably end up on the streets. I'm hustling, I'm cutting up, I'm putting that pistol in, cast lives. I'm poisoning my neighborhoods and things of that nature. So by me going to jail, he actually, laid me down, sit me down in that jail, gave me my Bible, gave me a pen and a pad. And man, like if anybody that's a friend of Gary Mays, if you listen to my songs, it's more biblically driven, because that's the way I started writing. I was writing scriptures. So what I ended up starting doing, what I decided to do was take those scriptures and just paraphrase them, and give you more of a, in other words, this is what it means. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So and it worked for me. So while I was in jail for that, 15 and a half, 16 months, I was writing, bro. It was every day, all day, I'm writing, playing basketball, writing, working out, writing. This is what I did every day for almost 16 months. So that was no way that I was gonna come home and abandon what God had given me, because I knew I was called to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And when I was called to do it, that's not. Yo, Jay, I think me and you've been chopping it up about, I think I want to say like 10, 12 years. You're right. I have never stopped working on music. Ever. The entire time I've known you, I've never stopped working on music. I'm always working on music. I'm going to forever do this. I have never been a household name. Never been a household. I've always been the underground dude.
In some you have. No.
Huh?
I said, in this house you have.
My dog. But I've never been a household name. Just like when fam came home from school, he didn't bring you a CD of somebody that you already knew. He brought you a mixed CD on a burnt copy of the CD and let you hear it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I've always been. I'm going to be 70, 80 years old living that same life. I don't care who knows me, but I'm going to continue to write, because that's my passion. I feel like my pen has enough in it that I can write something that's going to heal someone.
Absolutely.
Or heal some people. You know what I mean? So whether it's 2 people or 2 million, that's how me and my crew, because of the passion that I have, back, to the original point, because of the passion that I have, my crew, all of them understand, from my singers to my band to administration, everybody understands. If we go to a church that only has about 15 people, we're gonna sing and minister as if it's 15 million.
Right.
Because I want God to know it doesn't matter to me how many people are in front of me. I don't care about that. I don't need the big crowd. And I've had people come up to me like, yo, G, you perform as if we at Carnegie, man. Like it's the same. I've never seen you go half. There was a dude, you should probably interview him too, because he's dope. Cat named Seven. He's a poet, man. Mm-hmm. And he has some of the illest, pieces that I think the people can listen to, especially right now with what we're dealing with, doing this pandemic. He has some pretty dope pieces. But we did a show together one night, man, and it was probably like 31 people there. I forgot what happened. Something happened where the crowd was, it really died down. Something happened, and only like 30, 35 people showed up, man. And it was a big, big venue, like a huge venue. I went for blood, dude. I told my crew, we going all in. We at Carnegie. It's packed out there. Because it's somebody out there that need to hear us.
Absolutely.
Need to hear the work. So my passion wouldn't allow me to get on that stage and just go, because what we thought was going to be somewhere between 2,500 to 3,000 turned out to be 35, 36 people. That don't matter to me, man, because I'm going to do, if it's 35 or if it's 3,500 or 35, I'm going to give the same exact presentation. I'm going to go all out. My full squad, horns, band, all my singers, we're gonna wear the attire, we're gonna go in. And that's me because of my passion for it. I just don't want to give God half, knowing he's all giving me whole. So that's my thing.
I love that because of the fact that I'm guarantee you of those 31 people or 6 people, whoever in that room, the impact of giving everything is life changing. You know, and I know just in as a consumer, like when I see, you see people that kind of get up and do little stuff. I think the difference is deal with gospel music, and just the word gospel, the good news. I gotta know that you believe everything that's singing to me right now.
Absolutely.
And like I said, if you giving me half, or you just, you not really invested, then question like, or does this even connect with you?
Dear God, after countless headaches, multiple heartbreaks, consistent letdowns, breakdowns, and disappointments. Oh, but wait a minute, this is my victory in black and white. I beat depression, I beat divorce, so here's my declaration. Yes, sir. If you know it, sing it with me. Say,
through the fire, and through the flood. I made it. Through the storm and the rain. Thank God I made it. I made it. Through sickness and pain. I made it. I made it.
back to you made mention of something I thought was key. You were talking about how your writing being the thing that kind of kept you going when you were in when you were locked up. Do you feel now with the things that are going on and there's so much controversy and unrest socially because of our justice system, where people are feeling like it has failed us, and in a lot of ways it has. It has. It definitely has.
It has.
You having experienced kind of a testimony, where it saved you rather than what we have seen a lot of the result of a lot of Black men losing their lives at the hand of those that are in power or losing lives to spending their life in prison or no. So has your experience impacted the way you view our current climate?
Honestly, I can say no, man, because I'm at my daughter's house. I'm hanging out with my daughter. I got my sons hanging out this coming weekend. So in other words, I was never slain. I was never thrown down and chased down and shot up, So I can't really relate to a lot of those people. I have a sense of empathy for them, but I can't, because I've never experienced it. Every time I've been pulled over, God has allowed me to be protected by His hand, that I don't deal with anybody crazy. Crazy thing is, the other night I got pulled over, and I was nervous because this is the first time I've been pulled over in years. And it was simply to let me know that my inspection stick, my registration sticker was out.
Wow. And
he was cool. He didn't flex, he didn't do anything. So I haven't had that sense of, I'm always nervous when I'm pulled over by a cop, period. Whether I'm in New York or I'm in Houston, especially in New York, it's never good. And I've been blessed not to be pulled over by a cop myself, but being in the car pulled over. But I've never had that moment where I felt like I was being profiled. Besides one time. That was one time. That was a season. I shouldn't say one time. That was a season. There's a city out here in Houston called Pearland. And when I in my heart of hearts, I feel like they're extremely racist. Mm-hmm. I honestly, God, but they didn't, rough me up. I just feel like they were picking on me.
Right.
I felt like they were picking on me. But it was nothing that once they did it, I went home and wanted to write or wanted to go and hurt somebody. I was real upset when I felt like they were picking on me. And the crazy thing is, this was back in like 10 years ago. It was for the same thing. My registration was out on my truck. But what they were doing is they would pull me over on Tuesday and tell me and give me a ticket for my registration being out. Tuesday night, they'll pull me over again. I became like they knew my truck. My truck was like,
wow.
It wasn't one of these. So that kind of thing, maybe that's a reason for, I can understand. But outside of that, Jay, God has protected me away from things of that nature where I've never had to deal with it. I've always been protected, but watching what they're doing now, how they're just killing us at an alarming rate, though, man.
Absolutely.
Like the other day, it's something happening, and some mother has to bury their son. Some wife has to bury her husband. Some kid has to bury their parent, their father. Some cousin has to bury their favorite cousin. Like, I think the one that hurts me most, even though, Floyd was from down here. G. Floyd, he's from Thurwood, Texas, out here.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that young lady in Louisville?
Oh my God. Yeah.
She was asleep with her guy.
Yeah.
And they shot her 8 times while she was asleep. Like, she didn't no-knock warrant. You're in the wrong house and the people that you're looking for.
Complete wrong address. Right.
But did you hear about the whole thing about the people that they thought they were getting were already arrested? They were already in jail.
Right.
So those type, but that's the one that hits my heart. The heart. So I don't, I haven't had that moment where I was out and about, and I pray to God it never happens to me, man. But I've never been out and about and had a cop just being overly foolish.
Yeah.
So, but I do understand. Again, I empathize with those people that have had to deal with it, because I don't know how I would be able to handle it.
Yeah.
Especially when you know you haven't done anything wrong. They just picking on us, man.
Right.
They're literally just picking on us.
And it's I think now it's such a crazy time, because on top, the underlying part of that is all of this is on top of COVID. A pandemic we've never seen. So, folks are at home ready with so much time to just look and to find, watch these videos and like I just gotta turn my phone completely off, because I just can't keep consuming so much of that. Because it's not good. Like just the mind, and then having conversations sometimes it exhausts, especially because I deal with a lot of different people from different backgrounds. Some of them have no idea what the Black experience is like. Some of them, think do but don't. Some of them but don't have a Black experience.
Right.
Right. It is a lot of people have questions. A lot of people are frustrated. A lot of people are wondering, like, what we do? What's next? Where do we find? And we are able to persevere. But I think this is a time where I think our nation is just kind of clamoring for like a hope, a peace,
anything.
Right. Do you find with that your writing is inspired, or are you kind of like, well, now I need to sit back and like, where are you at creatively in the midst of all of this?
I think if I'm not mistaken, this guy is from the Bay as well, and he posted this, and I was like, man, you took the words out of my mouth. Eric Moore.
Yeah.
So Eric Moore, and I met Eric because of that Bay Area gospel chops.
Yeah. He's not. Yeah.
But he posted, yo, man, I can't even find the room to be creative because my mind is so discombobulated about everything that's happening around me. Now, right. Jay, what people fail to realize, a lot of us creatives, I've never been the guy who would just go to the studio and just start writing tunes. That's not me. I have to be inspired. Like I gotta have something around me has to inspire me to, maybe it's a beat that dropped. I'm like, oh, I can hear something to that. Or somebody writes a song, like the one song I wish I would have wrote, and this is the only song I've ever said this about, because I don't want God to believe I'm not grateful for the songs he's giving me, and he started taking them. But if I could have written a song worth the song by my man from DC, Anthony Brown and Grief Therapy.
Yeah.
Yo, Jay, if I could have wrote that tune, the arrogance that you would get on this interview right now.
Like, that's why he didn't give it to you.
Exactly. I'm like, yo, man, listen, I wrote words, man. Go.
Right.
But I need something, like when I heard that song, I was inspired to go and write. And it may not be a worship song, but those are the types of things that inspire me. With everything going on, and everything is on the internet. Everything is on the internet.
Everything.
So I can't go to the internet looking for inspiration. And if I try to play like my Apple Music, then you got stuff being interrupted because I keep getting these notifications. Like, oh my God. So he was like, I can't find any inspiration, because I'm so jacked up behind what's going on. So, dude, it took me like a week and a half to get back to my equipment.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I had to, like you, turn stuff off, stop paying any attention.
Absolutely.
I even had family members, because I struggled with depression in 2001. Like I had a real bad stretch between August of 2001 until January 1, 2000. Wow, and it was like, it was because I prayed the prayer for the new year. I didn't want to go into 2002 a depressed guy, man. It wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for my sons. It wasn't good for my wife at the time. It wasn't good for my friends. It wasn't good for my ministry. It wasn't good for my partners, because I found myself not wanting to play drums, not wanting to write, I was canceling sessions every other day. We were trying to finish up the Volume 1 album, the album that we were trying to finish that album. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
I was so depressed. You had Aaliyah dying first.
Yeah.
I got into this nasty, bad, just real ugly with a family member. It was so bad. This is somebody that I legitimately love as a family member. We got into it real bad to the point of I'm talking about fighting. And this is someone that I really love and adore. And that wasn't something I ever expected. So that took a toll on me. Aaliyah, my family member, and then the towers, then the whole 9/11 thing.
Right.
So I got all of this, beating me down. And I think I'm 27 at the time. Like, yo, this is wearing me out. Like, I can't believe I'm actually living during this time. I didn't think I would ever be living during this type of time. So I slept and couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat.
Yeah.
I couldn't play like basketball was my thing. I still play basketball today. I'm just healing up from an Achilles tear. But these are the things I would do for inspiration, just to get I had nothing, bro. And I knew it. I knew I was jacked up. So I didn't want to take that into 2002.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do is pray, ask God for peace. Because as long as I have peace in the midst of the storm, I'll be all right. As long as the storm is around me, but not on me, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I prayed, and here we are almost 20 years later. And I have more peace now than I ever, and even in the midst of what's going on right now, I found my way of going back to that particular moment when I told God, just give me peace in the storm so I'll be able to get through it. And I'm back to, like, I'm working, the dude, I don't know if you remember the song, We Made It.
Yeah.
I'm the dude that led the song is Pastor Brian Nelson. He's working on a new album. I'm helping produce his album. That's what I was working on.
He is a beast.
Oh, he's a monster, though.
Well, he comes from a beastie family.
Stock. He comes from good stock, Doc.
Right.
So that with everything that's going on, working on this record, working on Joseph's album, working on my album, doing some other little things, production-wise, I've been finding my little inspiration, man. But like he said, for a little while, Jay, it didn't look good, dog. I really thought, man, this is probably it for me. I don't know if I can do this anymore because I don't see the inspiration. Where am I going to get the inspiration from when I'm consistently, in the midst of all of this negativity? I can't work with negativity, man. I can't. Put pressure on me. Don't stress me the hell out.
Right.
But this was stressing me out. I can deal with pressure. I hate stress.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you put some pressure on me, like, I bet you can't do this by this time, I'm like, cool. Yes, I can. I'll do this. But when you stress, oh no, man, I can't handle that. So in this whole little situation, the pandemic, and then they start killing us. How are you killing us when we're supposed to be social distancing?
Right, man.
We are social distancing. How are you killing me? Why is your knee in my neck, dude?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you even this close? What did I do that was so bad that would have you putting your knee in my... Why are you inside of my crib? You in the wrong crib.
Yeah.
Why are you chasing me? You just patted me down for 35 minutes. I don't have no pistol. I don't have no knives. I don't have anything. Why are you shooting me in my back as I'm running away? Clearly, I'm afraid because you guys are trying to take me down. I gave y'all a 15, 20-minute conversation. You could tell I was drunk. What you could have done is say, yo, what we're going to do is we're going to have your car towed, but we're going to Uber you to your crib. Or we can just take you to your crib. We're not going to treat you like a criminal because you didn't do a criminal act. You fell asleep at Wendy's. So how am I going to be able to write and be inspired to do anything when you got people doing that type of stuff? I can't do it, Jay. But for some reason, whatever reason, God gave me some peace. So I'm in that place now. Like maybe it's time. Maybe I need to write a tune. God's going to pass me a tune about peace in the storm.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens over the next couple of days. Who knows?
I love that you as a black man specifically, we have a problem with acknowledging mental and emotional discord. Want to admit. See. Now I want the conversation to go this direction, but I'm just gonna say it. Especially black male leaders in the church. We don't acknowledge the fact a lot of times that, hey, we don't have all, right? And there's moments where we do need to kind of sit down, step back, right? So I appreciate that you in your experience are able to acknowledge that was a season for you where you had to say Ace, the things around me are affecting what's in me. I gotta, gotta get out of it. Like you said, I go into this neck carrying the same thing. And I think when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous or something like that, you got admission is the first step to recovery.
Yes, sir.
You have to acknowledge that. You have to say like, yo, I'm depressed. And it's okay. Like, it's just okay because we serve a God and we're created by a God that is the creator of peace, and he is able to give peace that passes all understanding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's Bible.
I absolutely, I appreciate and I honor that you have been able to kind of step out of that, but still acknowledge it and share it, because I think we have creatives now that kind of deal with that. Like, there's so much to deal with, and it's like, well, what angle do I come from? Do I do a virtual concert, or do I go to a protest? Do I give to a cause, or do I, try people to vote? Like, it's so many things that are. Do I stay home? Wear my mask? Do I not wear my mask? Is this a consistency? Is it not? So much is being thrown, and I don't care how great faith you have. There's so much being thrown. We are overwhelmed as a people.
This is my daughter Megan. That's Mr. Jeremy.
Hi, Mr. Jeremy.
Now, how are you having fun with your dad?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all. Listen, I ain't gonna too much longer. We. She like, Pops, roll it up, wrap it up, let's go.
Is it your phone already there?
It's on 11. 10.
All right.
Now do you sing?
Nah, man, she's a dancer, dude. She runs track and she dances.
Creative. That's listen. It's. But you're an athlete, right?
All day.
Yeah.
All day.
God didn't necessarily give me that.
He gave you the gift of other.
You won't be an athlete, not. And I'm okay with that. That's fine. I remember third grade. See, that's how you know I'm not an athlete. So I'll say I auditioned for the basketball team. But anyway, I tried out for the basketball team, right? And it wasn't even because I wanted to play basketball. I was like, let me just do this. So I got on the team, and I think I played 1 or 2 games, and I was like, this ain't it. This is not it. But it was funny because I knew then I wanted to be in entertainment. Like, I wanted to write, I wanted to direct, I wanted to. So I was like literally, like, I'm gonna start a production company at like 11 years old. Like, I'm starting a production company. This is what I'll do. I want to like it is.
Yo, you gotta know your niche. Let me tell you how crazy it is. I've never told you this. So I called you. I was like, yo, Jay, I want to come up there to the Bay and promote my album, dog. You're like, all right, say no more, right? So I called. I don't know if you even know, but everybody knows you. So I called Tashina. You know Tashina Danielle?
Yeah.
She said, have you talked to anybody else up here yet? I was like, yeah, I talked to Jeremy. Oh, you don't need to talk to me anymore. That's a connect right there, right? I was like, okay, cool. So I get off the phone with her. I called Lena. She's like, you talked to anybody else up here? I was like, yeah, I talked to Jeremy. Like, oh, that's the one. Okay, well, whatever he can do, just call me, but that's the one to talk to. I was like, cool. I called Lauren. I said the same thing, dog. Everybody say, well, you already got the one. That's the one you need to be talking to. So every day after that, I'm talking, okay. Everybody I talked to told me to go through Jeremy.
Well, that makes me feel good.
Everybody, dude. Too easy. So that's your niche. Leave the basketball alone.
I'm not even trying. It ain't like no attempts. That's not my lane, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. We'll wrap it up, but I want to ask you because I am fascinated by New York life, right?
Right.
I went to New York, and I spent a week doing the most random stuff ever. Like I went where I was in Queens, I was in the Bronx, I was in Harlem, in Brooklyn, I was in Manhattan, I was everywhere. On y'all subway system with on my phone, people was asking me, "Oh, how do you get?" I ain't from here. I know, but my boy who's from New York told me to download some app. It took me everywhere I need to go.
The Long Island Rail or just the regular sub, dog. You can't lose.
Y'all rats are just enormous. Like,
those are not rats, man. Those are people.
I was just telling my wife, I was like, yeah, I was in New York and the rat was waiting for the train with me.
Chilling, dog. No, don't, those rats, those are humans who walk on four. They're some huge dudes, man.
Yeah.
They're some huge individuals.
Yeah.
So I don't mess with them. Stay in your lane, I'm gonna stay in mine, homie. And you talking about waiting at the train. You talking about you sitting at the train waiting. Dude, how about waiting in line? Like literally waiting in line to go in a restaurant or waiting in line to, they sitting there and they don't run from you.
No.
They don't run. Oh, no, bro. Nah.
What part of New York did you grow up in?
I didn't grow up there. I moved there. I was born and raised in Houston. I moved to New York. Man, my godfather.
Because it sounds like you're from New York. I'm gonna tell you that.
So if I told you this happened by an accident, man. This was strictly an accident. I've always loved the culture of New York, even as a young kid.
Yeah.
But when I turned 14, I went to this place called Chimney Rock Center in Houston, Texas. It's like a alternative home for, challenged kids. I was always getting in trouble, being mischievous, running away from home. And so they put me in this spot for 30 days, and I met this man named Stanley Tarrant. And Stanley Tarrant is from the Bronx. And instead of him saying, "Hey, Gary, come here, let me talk to you," he'd be like, "Gary, let me speak with you."
Yeah.
So it shook me for a little while because I'm like, "Gary, that ain't how you say my name, man."
Right.
So I started teasing the way he speaks. Like, "Gary." And I just thought it kept going. And before you knew it, man.
It's like Stephen A. Smith.
He's hardcore New York.
Right.
He's Queens to the death, son. But I started going. I literally never went. I didn't go to New York until 1997, 98. And I went there to play for Juvenile. Juvenile was at Conan O'Brien show. We did the Conan O'Brien show. And I had to
money? Juvenile? Yeah. What? The Conan O'Brien show?
We went Conan O'Brien, dog. I was on Conan, and I still had the pictures. I gotta find that video too, so I can post it. So people, some people don't know. Some people don't even know I played drums. They be thinking there's somebody else playing drums on my records. That was me.
I know that.
Yeah, I played for Juvie, and we were in New York, man. And I got up there, dude. I think like you, and what you did in a week, I did in a day. I was all over Manhattan. I was all over Long Island. I was in Brooklyn. I wanted to go show me what Biggie used to. I went through the whole debate. Oh man, I did it all. And so in 2003, Dwayne Wright, DW, Timothy Wright, he and I became friends. And when we became friends, we started boys, and we kept in contact and whatever. And I told him I was ready to move, man. And by the time I moved to New York, everybody that was in New York, I'd already been there tons of times going back, but I was like, I'm gonna move. So by the time I moved, people were actually thinking I was moving back home.
Right.
Because the whole culture of New York has been in me for so long. Even my wife, when I first met my wife, oh dog, she was bugging. She was like, "No, where are you from?" I'm like, "What part?" She asked me what borough I was from. I'm like, "I ain't from no borough. I live in Long Island."
Right.
She's like, "No, but where are you from?" I was like, "I'm from Houston." Stop lying to me. You can't. This relationship won't go far if you're gonna be lying to me.
Right.
I'm like, yo, I'm from Houston. I'm born and raised. I'm a Houston. I'm a hometown. That's that's everything.
Right.
Like, you're lying to me. Stop lying. I'm like, yo, I'm from Houston, man. I moved to New York. I'm, going back and forth. I go to New York and go shopping for 2 or 3 days and come back home.
Yeah.
I'll go up there and work out and do some music with my boys and come back home. Like, I love the culture of New York. I don't ever want to live there again.
Really?
Oh, bro, it's not. New York is not for living when you're my age. If you're my son's age, I've been trying to get my son to go up there or go to LA just to get away from Houston, man, so you see a different culture. Because I don't know if you know it now, but my kid is like one of the illest drummers in the game right now. Like,
yeah, I talked about him not too long ago, and I was like, okay, right.
Yeah. He's sick with it, dog. No, he's sick, but he's crazy. He plays with me.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, yo, just go up there just for the sake of getting it. But I'm a Southern dude to the heart, man.
Yeah.
I'm a Southern dude. I'm gonna always be a Southern dude. So when I get ready to retire, when I want to just settle down and just chill out and have a crib where my grandkids can come and hang out, things of that nature, I'm gonna probably retire in Austin because I want to go countryside.
Right.
You don't have no countryside in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. Everything is
right. Which
you know
is why I loved it. You understand? I was 8. Like, man, can I go to New York?
Hey,
how you get in there? My dreams was to New York, but
man,
like I said, as I got older, I was like, ain't happening.
Tell you what's funny, and see that's the thing. If you're in your 20s, if you're in your teens, your 20s,
right,
maybe your 30s, early 30s, it's a move, man. It's not a bad move at all. But if you're in your late 30s, mid to late 30s, 40s, like moving to New York, people. And the crazy thing is, it's more people moving out of New York than people like they're moving out because they want that.
Moving to Houston. They move
to Houston. They moving to Dallas. They moving to Austin, San Antonio, Florida. They trying to get that countryside, man. They give me that weather climate change, man. Because upstate, New York, uptown, oh man, you could be riding in the snowstorm, going 30 miles an hour, having to be at work in 30 minutes, dog. It's still crazy. They can have it.
Nah, I'm good.
They can have it.
But I love California. I ain't gonna complain. I love California. I hate our rent, the house market. I can't stand that. But you know, I love Bay culture. I love California. Sir, I want to wrap up. I don't want to keep you much longer, but we're gonna bring you back for sure because we got so much more to talk about.
I knew this was gonna happen though.
Right.
This is the same stuff we do.
Long overdue.
This is the same stuff we do when we call the Texas, dog.
Exactly.
The devil gonna happen.
So, sir, I want you again, just for your time, sharing a story where you spend time with your daughter right now. Y'all enjoy. Go. You know, I don't know what kids. Y'all tell us how we can follow you on all social media platforms. We can get your music and all of that.
GMays21 on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to follow my personal page, it's Gary Mays on Facebook. And if you would like to follow my music page, it's G Mays Music on Facebook. And that's the best way. And if you want to book your boy, as soon as they get us out of this pandemic, a pandemic,
right.
It's bookgmays.com.
bookgmaysmusic.com. Listen, y'all, Bay Area, we got a brother here, so y'all know what we got to do. So
it's time.
It'll happen. It'll happen for sure.
It's time.
But sir, again, thanks so much, and thank you all for listening to the Indie Takeover. This has been your boy Jeremy Gibson with my guest Jays. I know I'm Gary. We out.
Out.
Dear God, you saved me. Because of your blood, you saved me. Because you died on the cross, you saved me. It's not something you had to do, but you saved me. Allow me to talk about it.
You saved me, even when I thought I wouldn't make it. All hope was gone, but you changed it.
And I'm glad about it.
And I'm glad about it.
Yes, sir.
Just when I needed an encore, you rescued me.